Big Boy. The Union Pacific Big Boy is the most famous steam locomotive ever built and the largest reciprocating steam class in history. Built by Alco in Schenectady, New York between 1941 and 1944, 25 of these machines were constructed to conquer the Wasatch Range in Utah, where 3,600-ton freight trains needed helper locomotives just to climb the 1.14% grade. Big Boy eliminated that problem entirely. It weighs 1,208,750 pounds, with its tender heavier than a fully loaded Boeing 747 by nearly 40%, and stretches 132 feet from end to end. Its 4 cylinders produce 135,375 pounds of tractive effort and 6,290 horsepower at speed. The 4884 wheel arrangement means 16 driving wheels split across 2 articulated engine sets, all fed by full-pressure, 300 pounds per square inch steam. It could haul 4,200 tons unassisted at 60 miles per hour across Wyoming. 8 survive in museums, but one, number 4014, was restored by Union Pacific in 2019, converted from coal to oil, and now runs on the main line, the only operating Big Boy on Earth. It burns about 25 gallons of fuel oil per mile. Allegheny. The Chesapeake and Ohio H8 Allegheny is the Big Boy's eternal rival, and by sustained power output, the most powerful steam locomotive ever measured. Lima Locomotive Works built 60 between 1941 and 1948. Its 2666 wheel arrangement carried the largest firebox ever fitted to an American locomotive, 135 square feet of great area, feeding a boiler 109 inches wide. It weighs 1,208,900 pounds fully loaded, virtually identical to the Big Boy, and stretches 125 feet. Tractive effort is rated at 110,200 pounds, but where the Allegheny dominates is at speed. On a dynamometer test, hauling a 14,075-ton train of 160 cars, number 1608 recorded 7,498 drawbar horsepower, the highest figure ever achieved by any steam locomotive. Built to move coal over the Allegheny Mountains between Hinton, West Virginia, and Clifton Forge, Virginia, 2 of these machines could push 11,500 tons over the summit in under 2 hours. Only 2 survive today. Number 1601 sits inside the Henry Ford Museum, and number 1604 at the B&O Railroad Museum in Baltimore. PRRS-1. The Pennsylvania Railroad Class S1 is the longest reciprocating steam locomotive ever built, the only 6446 in history, and a beautiful failure. Just one was constructed at the PRR's Juniata shops in 1938, with a streamlined Art Deco shroud designed by Raymond Loewy. It stretches 140 feet and rides on 84-inch driving wheels, the largest ever fitted to a multi-driver locomotive, standing 7 feet tall. It weighs 1,060,000 pounds and produces 7,200 drawbar horsepower at 100 miles per hour. Its duplex drive, 2 non-coupled sets of drivers on a single rigid frame, reduced hammer blow, and allowed extraordinary speed. The S1 starred at the 1939 New York World's Fair, spinning its wheels on rollers at 60 miles per hour under its own steam. In service, it allegedly reached over 100 miles per hour hauling the Broadway Limited, but it was simply too long for most curves and couldn't fit standard turntables. PRR moved to smaller duplex designs and scrapped the S1 in 1949. Virginian AE, the Virginian Railway Class AE, carries the largest cylinders ever fitted to an American locomotive. Alco built 10 of these massive 10-10-2 compound mallet locomotives in 1918, and they represent brute force in its purest form. The rear engine runs high-pressure cylinders at 215 pounds per square inch, and the exhaust steam then feeds into those massive front cylinders to extract every last bit of energy. Starting tractive effort reaches 176,600 pounds in simple mode, matching a modern diesel electric. Total weight with tender is about 898,000 pounds. But here's the catch. The boiler could not sustain pressure above roughly 8 miles per hour at full load. These were not fast machines. They were built exclusively for pusher service on the 2.07% grade at Clark's Gap in West Virginia, where stopping power and raw torque mattered more than speed. One AE once moved 17,250 tons alone over an adverse grade. After the Virginian electrified its steepest lines in the 1920s, they were demoted to helper duty and eventually scrapped. None of the 10 survived. Jawn Henry. The Norfolk and Western TE1, nicknamed Jawn Henry, after the folk hero Jawn Henry, was the last steam locomotive built in America for revenue service, and it lasted less than 4 years. Baldwin Lima Hamilton completed it in 1954. Instead of pistons, it used a coal-fired water tube boiler at 600 pounds per square inch to drive a steam turbine at 8,000 revolutions per minute, which spun a generator powering 12 traction motors, one on every axle. Engine plus tender stretched 161 feet, the longest steam locomotive ever built. It weighed 1,182,000 pounds and produced 4,500 horsepower with 175,000 pounds of starting tractive effort. The name was bitterly appropriate. Just as Jawn Henry beat the machine but died trying, Jawn Henry was steam's last stand against the diesel, and steam lost. Coal dust infiltrated the electrical systems, the boiler controls were unreliable, it wouldn't fit on turntables, and above 12 miles per hour, it was slower than conventional steam. It was scrapped in 1958. Norfolk and Western ordered 300 diesel locomotives and never looked back. Big blow. The Union Pacific third-generation gas turbine electric locomotive earned the nickname Big Blow because its turbine roar was so deafening that UP banned it from cities entirely. General Electric built 33-piece sets between 1958 and 1961, each consisting of an A unit, a B unit carrying the turbine, and a fuel tender rebuilt from retired steam locomotive tenders. The full consist stretches 179 feet, about 60% of a football field. The GE Frame 5 gas turbine produces 8,500 horsepower, the most powerful single-prime mover ever installed in a North American locomotive. It burned Bunker C residual heavy fuel oil, a tar-like waste product so cheap in the 1950s that it made turbines economically viable despite consuming twice the fuel of a diesel. The tender held 24,000 gallons, heated to 200 degrees to keep the oil flowing. Birds flying behind the exhaust were incinerated by the 850-degree gases, earning the additional name bird burner. When the petrochemical industry learned to crack residual oil into valuable lighter products, Bunker C prices rose and the turbines became uneconomical. The last one ran in December 1969. 2 survive in museums. GT-1H. The Russian Railways GT-1H is the most powerful gas turbine locomotive in the world today, and it is powered by an engine derived from the Tupolev Tu-160 Blackjack supersonic strategic bomber. 2 prototypes exist. The first was assembled in 2007, the second in 2013. The turbine is a Kuznetsov NK-361, a railway adaptation of the NK-321 turbofan that pushes a nuclear bomber to Mach 2, now harnessed to pull freight across Siberia. It produces 11,300 horsepower and 198,500 pounds of starting tractive effort across 16 powered axles. It runs on liquefied natural gas stored cryogenically, carrying 20 tons of LNG for a range of about 620 miles. In 2011, it hauled 170 cars weighing 16,000 tons, setting a Guinness World Record. A hybrid battery system allows it to shunt in rail yards for up to 50 miles without starting the turbine. It operates on routes through the Ural Mountains in western Siberia. Russia planned to build dozens more, but as of today, only the 2 prototypes remain in service. Centennial. The EMD-DDA-40X. Centennial is the largest and most powerful single-frame diesel locomotive ever built. EMD constructed 47 exclusively for Union Pacific between 1969 and 1971. The first unit was rushed to completion for the 100th anniversary of the Golden Spike ceremony on May 10, 1969. At 98 feet long, it is longer than a basketball court. It weighs 545,000 pounds and carries 2 16-cylinder EMD 645E3A diesel engines on a single frame producing a combined 6,600 horsepower. All 8 axles are powered through a DD wheel arrangement. Top speed is 90 miles per hour. It was built to replace the retiring big blow gas turbines and could handle the heavy grades of Sherman Hill and the Wasatch with fewer units than conventional diesels. Each unit averaged about 2 million miles before retirement in the mid-1980s. 13 of the 47 survive in museums and collections. One of them, number 6936, was restored to operational condition in 2023, making it the largest working diesel locomotive in the world. Shen 24. Shen 24 is the most powerful locomotive ever built by any metric, and it entered service in 2021. CRRC Zhuzhou built the prototype in 2020 for China Energy Investment Corporation. It is a 6-section articulated electric locomotive stretching 347 feet, roughly the length of a Boeing 747 plus a school bus. With 24 powered axles, drawing power from 25 kilovolt overhead catenary through 4 independent pantographs. Continuous power output is 28,800 kilowatts, approximately 38,600 horsepower, more than 6 times the Centennial's output. Starting tractive effort is 512,500 pounds. It hauls trains of 108 coal hopper cars weighing 10,000 tons along the Shenmu-Shuozhou Railway, a dedicated 165-mile coal corridor running from Shanxi into Shaanxi Province. Before the Shen 24, this route required complex multi-locomotive consists with multiple crews. Now one driver in a single cab operates the entire machine with automated acceleration, braking, and speed control. In its first year, it moved 3.7 million tons of coal. The initial order was 8 units, with more planned. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. That way, you'll help the channel grow.